a fabric library, which is a service department for the McCall Pattern Company, which comprises McCall patterns, Butterick patterns, Vogue patterns, and Quick Sew. We are responsible in this department for anything that has to do with fabric or notions and trims, anything to do with helping the designers and merchandisers discover what they need for the various catalogs that they're working on, for photography, through getting the fabrics and notions and trims into the library and having them be processed right into dressmaking. So that's encompasses a lot and a lot of time. A basic day comprises of course, always checking emails because it relates back to our fabric orders. It could be placing fabric orders. If it's a retail chain store, I tend to do those. It comprises of answering questions from any of the 4 designers that are on staff, or the merchandiser, or the creative director, in any capacity having to do with fabric, having to do with an order that we've placed. It could be having to do with what kind of specific knit print could we get from one of the retail chains? What have we gotten in so far for a particular season? For instance, we're working on spring-summer right now. The dressmaker might have a question, we don't have enough fabric, what do you have in the closet? That brings us to, is there a little bit of maintenance of the closet that I could do in the 5 minutes that I have here and there? It's time management, very, very important, because every day is different. It's looking at projects that are looming on the horizon, down in the next month or the next week or what have you, next couple of days. I went to Fashion Institute of Technology. I ended up getting my AAS degree, my associate's degree, and I stayed for an additional 2 years for the upper division. And I got I guess it was my Bachelor of Science. I don't even remember what the degree was. The first degree was in fashion design. The second was it was called Product Design Apparel. And I actually specialized, the first time I specialized in children's wear and knitting. And the second time I kind of continued that, and I also did textile design and handbag and shoe design. It was really fascinating. And costume design. So it was a wonderful 4 years. My mom was a designer for 50 years. She was a dress designer. Her name was Payne, and she wasn't well known to the general public, but she was known to the industry. And I designed next to her. She'd work at home. It was a 24-hour job. I learned that no matter what you did as a designer, you were always a designer. So I learned from her. That's how I got started. When I got old enough, she put my designs into the line, and if they sold, she would tell her bosses, oh, my daughter designed that. I just always loved putting outfits together, and I was inspired to look at the magazines, and I just was a fashion person. So I started my career while I was at FIT as a runway fashion model and working for the designers doing fitting. Very important, because I learned how a fabric would drape by standing, wearing all different kinds of garments. I really was born into touching fabric, feeling, always going like this, no matter, even people, I'll do that, oh, let me think that fabric. Now I have to add my glasses to really understand what I'm doing, but that's a part of it. I just love fabric. I love color combinations, surrounding myself with color, trends, fabric. What more could I want? I think that the biggest achievement is doing what I do now, including the color and trend. That this was something that I always wanted to do. And I would say that that's the biggest achievement. I'm doing what I always wanted to do, but didn't know that I would be doing it. you know, you realize, wow, I have like the dream job.